Ranking the Super C bosses from worst to best. Let's go. Number 8, the Laser Chandelier. One of the most random bosses I've ever faced off against. This boss is pretty subpar. It just moves back and forth, raining down lasers, and all you have to do is just shoot the nozzles to destroy it. The best strategy I find is to start from the center and work outwards. And this allows you to have a safe area underneath the boss and prevents the boss from cornering your ass. It lacks both difficulty and a cool visual design, which lands it at the bottom of this list. Number 7, Shadow Beast Kimco. If there's one thing that is super disappointing to me, it's a lackluster final boss. Unfortunately, Kimco is just that. This boss has great visual design, but seriously lacks in difficulty. All you do is run up against its legs and you pretty much dodge everything. There's an occasional projectile or two that'll appear above your head, but for the most part, you're safe to just wail on her. I know that difficulty isn't everything, but this is the final boss. It should be difficult. Instead, it's an absolute cakewalk. If this fight was earlier in the game, I wouldn't be so hard on it, but as the final boss, it's quite a letdown. Number 6, Jaeger Freud. Despite having an awesome look, that's about all this boss has to offer. At least I can be thankful that this boss isn't too difficult, because the level leading up to this fight is fucking brutal. This first phase boils down to slightly standing to the side and just firing away, occasionally shooting the spiked projectiles that come from both sides. After destroying the melted faces, once again, the visual design of this fight is awesome, the second phase begins, and you just stand in the center. All the alien worm does is circle around you, and it doesn't pose any threat whatsoever. Just concentrate fire and you'll down this bitch in no time. Number 5, Censor. This is the upgraded version of the wall from the first game, and by upgrade, I mean that this boss actually tries to kill you. It has 4 rotating turrets that target you and protect the center. The flame is the best weapon to use against this boss, as the damage from it is fucking ridiculous. Once the 4 turrets are gone, it's a sitting duck for punishment. While it does lack in visual design compared to Jaeger Freud and Kimco, it does make up for it with the challenge that it presents. Number 4, the Great Helicopter. The first boss in the game is a good learning tool on how to fight bosses and is very well tuned for the early game. You'll have to shoot off its guns to reveal the weak point, but unlike Censor, it doesn't remain completely defenseless. When it flies down, the back hatch will open, and foot soldiers will spawn out to assist it. This boss is the perfect learning tool for teaching players when to go on the offensive and when to go on the defensive. It's a great opening to the game with good difficulty and design. Number 3, Magnus. The second boss in the game ups the difficulty significantly. The 3 gunmen are constantly shooting at you while the vehicle itself slowly creeps towards you in an attempt to give you some electric shock therapy. Just keep moving with the vehicle to avoid being shot and keep back to avoid the electric shock. Only the green gunman needs to be killed for the boss to die, but getting rid of the others is recommended because it makes the fight much easier. This fight is a huge improvement from the helicopter and is one of the best fights in the game in my eyes. Number 2, Girolal. Yet another improvement on the previous entries with even more hazards to deal with. You'll have to avoid the skulls that constantly spawn, as well as the homing projectiles that the boss can shoot out, as well as the boss itself, which tries to dive bomb your ass. The visual design is also pretty grotesque. It's a bunch of mangled bodies fused together. It's horrific and fucking awesome at the same time. Couple that together with great difficulty, and you have my second favorite boss in Super C. Number 1, the Temple of Terror. In first place is this horrifying organic structure. Constantly spewing acidic blobs and projectiles, this is one of the most demanding fights in the game. Perfect play is vital to your success, and unlike the other bosses, I don't really have a strategy for this one. Just try your best to not get killed, which is easier said than done, especially if you don't have the spread gun. The high difficulty, combined with the excellent visual design of the structure being surrounded by alien eggs with a demonic skull atop it, is pretty intimidating, and is my pick for the best boss in Super C. What do you guys think? Tell me what your favorite bosses in Super C are. Be prepared for Contra 3, as I finally managed to beat it on hard difficulty, and the playthrough should be coming out very, very soon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.